my thinking is that China has become very insecure today. So everything that's coming out of the Chinese leader's mouth is security, security, security. And that also creates a sense of fear in the Chinese people's mind that, again, the foreigners are going to come and invade China, which is not really the truth. So they try to create that atmosphere. And if there is a threat to the survival of the Communist Party, depending on the severity of that threat, they will attack one of these places. So till such a time, I don't see any immediate danger from the Chinese side, because their economy is in the doldrums. Starting from the rural governments to the banking sector to the housing collapse and the debt economies that are not working, BRI programs that are not going as they expected. And their foreign exchange reserves will also come down if the GDP growth is not as much as it used to be. And if they don't have too much trade surplus with other countries, they don't have the reserve to splurge it on Belt and Road Initiative or space technology or artificial intelligence or military equipment. As I say, China needs to be more introspective. They point fingers at everybody else and say they are trying.
Everybody else is at fault.
A problem for China, but whereas China is fueling military expense of all the other countries. Look at Japan. Prime Minister Kishida is now very strong on spending on defense, and Taiwan has to spend. There's no choice for them. Australia is investing in nuclear submarines, even though they are that far away. Now India has to spend more. We all know how much India is spending on infrastructure development, and the new defense ties with France or Germany or US. But India is also in a very difficult position because of the growing Russia-China relations. And if China were to attack India today, I think India would be in a very difficult position with spare parts and the military supplies not coming through from Russia. So it's a very new scenario that is developing, new dynamics and equations coming up. So it's very interesting times.
So I'd like to touch upon the point you made that Xi Jinping and the Communist Party appear insecure. Is this, what are they insecure about? I think the primary focus is internal, isn't it? A mass public uprising against the Communist Party. We saw some evidence of that during the COVID time, not too long ago, I think last year itself. Is that the primary fear here?
I think because nobody is going to attack China from outside. India is not going to attack China, and NATO is not going to attack China. None of the neighboring states have the capacity or the will to attack China. So if there is one aggressor, it's going to be China. So the level of paranoia with the Chinese leadership, because one thing the Chinese leadership lack is trust within themselves and with others. They don't trust anybody else, and others don't trust them. So if there is no trust, it's very difficult to maintain relationship over longer time, because you always live in suspicion as to who is going to do what. So that is why when I checked with Chinese scholars, they said that not more than 3 Politburo members can meet together without the permission of the president. This convention was there, but it was reinforced more during Xi Jinping's time. And what does that say? That manifests that they are afraid of internal coup. But then now the things have changed, unlike the previous Politburo, where you have, normally they keep people from the former presidents, like Jiang Zemin's people, Hu Jintao's people. Now that Jiang Zemin is no more, Hu Jintao's people should be there to protect him. That is the system. That's how it works. Now, this time, it's all his people, 7 people. So it's one hand, you have Xi Jinping and the 6 other people. And it's supposed to be all his own people. So if you listen to the Chinese people's reaction to the developments in Russia with Putin and Wagner, Prigozhin, there were some YouTubers in China who were we did a very good analysis of how people viewed that. And China showed that for only a few hours when it started. And when the story started evolving around Prigozhin's relationship with Putin over 30 years, being an inmate, chef, this, that, and then a close ally of Putin rising up against the Iron Man, as Chinese people see, or even Xi Jinping sees Putin as a very strong man, Iron Man, and that image being shattered has its implication on the minds of the Chinese people as to whether there would be a future Prigozhin against Xi Jinping or not. So those questions are, and then suddenly they stopped the coverage by the state media, and there are no other media that can cover that, or they showed it only after the Prigozhin decided to leave to Belarus for exile. So that is the level of control on information we are talking about, which is taken for granted in the free world.
But tell me, this idea of a coup, this suspicion of a coup, is it realistic given, Xi Jinping's control over the system? And coup from where? From within the party or from the army?
This could be varied, So coup, the first thing I said about having to secure his permission for more than 3 Politburo, then it becomes a majority.
Yeah.
And the second level is during Xi Jinping's time, particularly in the last 4 years, he has been changing every general, just like what Mao used to do when he changed the Eastern Theater general to the Western, swapped the job. Similarly, Xi Jinping is also transferring all the generals every single year. He makes sure that the generals don't build strong relationship with the cadres. So that also is a paranoia to rule out military coup. So it could be from anywhere political, from the public. Also, again, China is the only country that spends more money on internal security than external security, particularly on security apparatus and the apps that they use, like electronic identification, geolocation, now even DNA profiling, iris scanning, and all that. So that itself manifests a deep distrust between the rulers and the ruled.